Hello there everyone, welcome to a new video. It is me, Desiree, and this is another video in my makeup collection appreciation week where I'm just really appreciating what I have this week and really just loving the things I already own. And today I wanted to share with you a few discontinued limited edition makeup items that I have that I don't really use anymore, but I will never declutter. Some of them have memories attached. Some of them I just love having and looking at and holding and swatching, and then I put them away in a vault. And Emily Noel actually did a video like this the other day, and it was so fun to see some old stuff that she had saved, old products that she used to use, stuff that used to be popular, things like that. So these are just a handful of stuff. I have a lot of other items that I still keep and I will never declutter, like that Smashbox On the Rocks palette right there. I'll never let that go. I love it. Anyway, this is the stuff I want to talk about today. Let's get crack-a-lackin'. Some of this stuff I have talked about in other videos. I feel like I'm sitting all messed up. Some of this stuff I have talked about in other videos. Here and there over the couple years I've had my channel. If it's repetitive, I'm sorry, but you know what? I don't know. I'm going to talk about it again. So the first two I have to talk about, two of my like prized possessions, are from Smashbox. These are the Smashbox X Santa Gold little eyeshadow like quads. I bought these actually from Coffee Break with Danny. She put these on her Poshmark and I snapped them up. Snatched them up. Snapped them up? That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? I got them really fast. The box is super cute inside. Like they put a lot of attention to detail. And it looks like this. I haven't seen Smashbox do something this fun in a long time. Anyway, this is how it looks. It is a Quint, a little 5-shade palette here. I have used both of the ones that I have. I used them a lot when I first got them, and then I put them away because I thought I would use them up or something. I love these. I think they're beautiful to look at. The packaging is A+. I cannot believe she put these up, and I was like, oh my god, I want those. This is a really old collection, but I will never ever let it go. And this is the other one. I'll just show it to you. Same design and everything, but the shades on the inside are a little different. And that is what it looks like right there. Really cool. I'll never let these go. I open them up every now and then from the boxes, and then I put them back, and I just remember like, oh, I love these. These are something that if I lost them, I'd be like genuinely upset. The next thing is the Urban Decay Shadow Box. So Urban Decay used to put out little palettes like this all the time. It opens up like this, which I think was very cool. And then here are all the shadows. I used the heck out of this thing. It doesn't look like I used it at all, but I've used it so much. Not lately, but I did swatch all of them the other day because I was sitting in here swatching everything. I had them all up my arms, and I went to go to the bathroom to wash them off. And my boyfriend's like, "What happened?" And I was like, "The blush has got to me." Like everything just attacked me. It was so much fun. Anyway, I loved this palette. I loved this one in particular here called Free Love. I loved Smog. I loved Bordello. I loved Flash. I loved all of these. They were so awesome. I always wanted to buy stuff in full size, but I was like, I have them all right here. Why would I want those? I'll never get rid of this palette. I think this was this wasn't the first Urban Decay thing I ever bought. I actually have it here. I'm going to share a story about when I bought it because it was so embarrassing. But I love this little thing. I will never get rid of it. It was just such a nice memory of my first time like getting into higher end makeup, you know. I love this palette. Let me share the other Urban Decay one real quick. So this is, they did bring these back just recently. They're called Threesomes now, but back then they were called Flushed. And this is the shade Native. And I actually bought this because of Bethany Moda. She had talked about this in a video, and I was like, I want to get that. But I didn't know Urban Decay was a brand at the time, which is weird because I knew Urban Decay was a brand at the time. But for some reason, I saw Naked, and I thought that was the brand. So I took my little happy butt over to Ulta, and I asked for Naked. I said, do you guys carry Naked? And I was trying to sound like I knew what I was talking about. Like, I'm in here to buy Naked. And I asked for Naked, and she went, oh, Urban Decay. And I was like, I asked for Naked. I wasn't being a jerk like that, but in my head, I felt so smug. Anyway, I got it. I'm home. I'll never see that person again in my life. This is what it looks like, and this is the palette. The bronzer I never ever liked. It was so just too orange, not really bronzer enough. Highlighter I liked. Blush was way too intense for me at the time. Haven't used this in a really long time, but I used the heck out of the highlighter in this palette. I keep wanting to buy one of the new ones that they have just to see how it compares, but I don't need it. But anyway, those are those two. Two more I have to mention. It would not be a limited edition. I forgot to mention these in the best packaging video, but the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani collection palettes. I have the eye palette and the blush palette. So the blush palette looks like this. Yes, I still use it. This was a Gwen Stefani collection that she put out with Urban Decay. The only negative thing about this is that it was a collection made like for Gwen Stefani, and when you look at the shades in the palette, it's very obvious it was made for someone with extremely light skin. The blushes are amazing, and I love this packaging. I think it's so cool. And then here's the eyeshadow palette, and this is what it looks like. I mean, look at it. It's so boring. The shadows are fine in here. I never was over the moon about the eyeshadow selection, but I bought it. I don't regret it. I love having it. And I always felt this extreme FOMO about the blush palette. I thought about it all the time. Like years later, I still thought about it. And I was like, I wish I had that palette. I wish. And I guess I had mentioned it out loud one time, and my boyfriend actually bought this for me for my birthday last year. Where he got it, I don't know. I don't care. I love it. I use it. I lost my mind when I opened it. I was like, oh, no. I love these. I will never declutter them. They're two of my favorite absolute palettes that I have. Never let go of it. Speaking of my boyfriend, who's a very nice guy, this is from Makeup Forever. This was my first Makeup Forever item. This was a palette they put out, I want to say it's going to be 5 years this year, I think, ago that they put this palette out. I worded that really wrong, but I think you know what I meant. This is a 5-year-old palette. My first ever Makeup Forever thing. I'd always been a huge admirer of Makeup Forever, but I never bought anything. And this is what the palette looks like. I use a lot of those two shades and this one here. These were really difficult to use. I loved the formula, but I found a lot of them took a lot of work, especially like the purples and blues and greens. But the nude shades and stuff like that were really nice and beautiful. I used it all the time. I'll never let this go. Just because it looks beautiful and it's awesome. It was my first Makeup Forever thing. I'll never let this go. But my boyfriend bought that for me. We were just friends at the time too. We went Black Friday shopping and he bought it for me, and I don't know, we've been together ever since. I know, right? He lured me in with the promise of makeup. No, anyway, he did buy it for me though. This is something from ColourPop. This was my first ColourPop experience. This is something from Coffee Break with Danny that she put out called Metamorphosis. And it was a set of 4 ColourPop Super Shock shadows. I think they only had Super Shock shadows at the time. And I hated these. I never liked the Super Shock shadow formula. These were the first 4 I ever owned, and I was like, ColourPop sucks. But now I do like ColourPop. I like a lot of their other things, but the Super Shock shadows were never my favorite. Although I still buy them here and there because I just want to try them again. They're hard as a rock now, of course. I still buy them here and there because I don't know, I'm still curious. But these were 4 shades that were in this little quad. I never liked these, although I tried using them a lot. And I just loved Coffee Break with Danny so much that I wanted to support her collaboration, so I bought it. And I still keep it. I will never let this go. Never use it. Never declutter it. Urban Decay Electric Palette. I am one of the people that bought this full price. It went on sale, a while after I bought this. This had been around for a little while. And I remember going into Sephora all the time and looking at this palette and just staring at it. Because you know they have the tester just sitting there like this. And I would look at it all the time and I was like, oh my God, I have to have you. I have to take you home with me. One day I'm going to come back and save you. And one day I went back and I got it. Months and months, if not a year later. Like, I looked at this for so long before I bought it. Because I think this was like one of their $50 palettes or something. I loved it. I used it a lot. I loved this palette. I loved everything about it. I'll never let it go. I know they did bring out a new one that I don't know, haven't used it, not interested in it. I was very interested in it, but I have this. I'll never let it go. You know, I don't use it, but can't let it go. Same with the After Dark palette. This, I think, was after I bought that one. I bought this one. Or vice versa. I don't know. I bought them both. It doesn't matter. I used the heck out of this. This is what it looks like in case you're wondering. I absolutely love this. I used to use it all the time. Loved these eyeshadows. And especially when you only have a couple of palettes Every single shade gets used. Every shade is amazing. You don't really know the difference between good quality and bad quality. Not that this is bad, but this was like one of the only ones I had, so I was like so in love with it. I was gonna say obsessed, but I'm not obsessed with it. But I'll never let it go. I have this little palette here. I can't let this go. I have tried to declutter this. I think I've decluttered it in a video before, and I can't let it go. I take it out of the box and I put it back. This is from Sonia Kashuk. It's a pretty cheeky face palette. I don't think Sonia Kashuk makes makeup anymore as far as I know. This palette, never used it. I'll never declutter it. I don't know. I have this thing from Wet n Wild. Remember when Wet n Wild was good and they used to put makeup out like this? That was really fun. I miss this style of packaging so much. This is the Color Icon 8 color pan thing in the shade Boardwalk Boozing. I haven't liked a limited edition Wet n Wild collection in a long time. I find them so awful now. And Wet n Wild seems like they're trying to compete with somebody. I don't know. Like they're trying to be too Instagram and not fun anymore. So I don't know. Wet n Wild, they fell off. But you know what? I'll never let go of this palette. I love it. Gonna keep it forever. Another Wet n Wild thing that came out around that time when they were doing fun stuff was this. This is a Color Icon Blush and Glow Trio in the shade Solar Powered. So funny. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a funny story that I think's funny. You might not even laugh. But anyway, I love this thing, and I don't use it anymore, but I remember using this very specifically with the Real Techniques stippling brush, because I just got that brush. It was one of my only brushes I ever had, and I used it with this all the time, and I loved it. Super pigmented, super glowy. Wish they did fun stuff like this more, but you know, they don't. Anyway, one of my coworkers, I guess, still had one of these and uses it all the time, and she broke it, and I guess she dropped it and broke it, and she was describing it to me. And as she's describing it, I'm picturing this. And I was like, is that like a really old Wet n Wild thing? She's like, yeah, I've had it for so long. I love it. And I was like, wait, no, it can't be the old. And it was one just like this. It's a different shade. Luckily, because I told her, I was like, if I had the same shade, I'll give it to you. I spoke out of turn because I wouldn't want to give it to her. Luckily, it's not the right one. It's not the one she wanted. But she still had this and used it all the time, which I thought was crazy. One of the first ever high-end things I ever bought was this item from Tarte. This is what it looks like. It is 3 eyeshadows, a contour, and a highlight. Matte white highlight and an ashy gray cool toned contour that I would never use in a million years. I don't understand. Okay, I understand it from the artistry side, the makeup artist side. For me personally, I'll never use a shade like that for contour. I am a bronzer person all the way. You're never going to change my mind. So I don't know why I bought this. Because I never used those. But these shades I used all the time, and they're so full of fallout. It would fall all over my face, but I never knew any better. This was one of the only things I ever had, like, before any of this stuff. And I thought that's just what high-end eyeshadows did. I was like, this is really expensive. These eyeshadows are so good. You just first have to do all your other makeup last and do these first and then wipe it off and then wash your face, and it's a whole experience. But you know what? It's so good. I don't know. I'll never get rid of it. I like having this. It has some memories, and, you know, I'll keep it forever. Another thing I want to mention, I have 2 more. I was going to mention a few things, but, you know, we'll mention a couple things. The Kat Von D Beethoven True Romance Eyeshadow Palette. This was when Kat Von D was just doing a collection for Sephora, and it wasn't really like her brand. Because I remember it was just like a one-off where Kat Von D did a collection, and then it turned into a whole brand. And I bought this palette, and I used this shade so much. Let's turn it this way. This silvery shade. I was really into silver gray on my eyes, and I'd use it all the time. I used the heck out of this palette. Of course, only 2 or 3 shades here, and I really loved it. I will never ever get rid of this. I followed Kat Von D ever since. Have a bunch of her products. Don't love them all. You know, they don't all work for me, but I'll never ever let go of this. And we won't mention those. I talk about those all the time. This little thing from Rimmel, this is the Glam Eyes HD. Remember when Rimmel had these very impractical eyeshadow things? Beautiful to look at. I put a huge dip in that pink one. I used it all the time. But to use this blue, white, or black, I mean, what are you going to do? A pencil brush as like a liner, and that's it, because it was really hard to get those shades to be used. But I loved this. I used the pink all the time, and I love it. It's not necessarily something I think they should bring back. I did feature this in a video a long time ago about makeup that should come back. It's very impractical now to me, and I wouldn't care for it to come back, but I love having this one. And what do we mention now? Let's talk about these 3 palettes real quick because I have to. These Smashbox holiday palettes. I've been buying these. I have 3 here, so for the last 3 years I've been buying them. And I love them. I love when Smashbox does something really fun for the holidays I feel is fun, and I will buy it. Because throughout the year, they're kind of just like your makeup artist brand. They're not really fun. They don't do really any collabs, which is fine. But I love that they always go all out for the holidays, and they do something really fun with their palettes. This was last year, or 2019. This was the year before. I love this one a lot. This is just a face palette though. I use this all the time. I love it. And then the year before was this one. This one has a more like stand-up mirror. The other one felt folded all the way back. This one's more like a stand-up because it is a full face palette. It has the eyeshadows, the contour trio that they're really famous for, or not famous for, but it's popular. I don't know. And some blushes. What am I talking about? Anyway, I save all of these. I love them. I hope they come back with another one that has the stand-up mirror, because the last 2 years it folds back, which is cool, but I want the stand-up mirror, you know. Anyway, that's it. Those are the palettes I wanted to mention today. Limited edition, discontinued things that hold a special place in my heart. I will never declutter, never let them go. Don't use them a whole lot now, but I love them and I will keep them forever. Let me know if you have any of these. Have you used them? Let me know some of your favorite discontinued things. I would love to know in the comments below. And that's it. I'll see you later in another video. Bye.